Oh, I think it's time to check in on the RNC.
New and when, because I have talked to a number of people who have been on the ground with the former president in recent days and weeks who had no idea. Now, one thing to remember is that Donald Trump has a very tight-knit security team. He has been with the same detail for years. He is very...
No, by the government.
No, I'm not. I don't know.
Hey, get out of here, man. What the hell? Jesus Christ with these lunatic Republicans. Total lunatic Republicans. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me your lunatic conspiracy theory about how
I don't have
providing for my children, keeping them safe, and giving them an opportunity for a better life. That's something that unites all American parents, whether we're Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, or liberals. We all want a better country for our children.
Why am I crying over the Republican National Convention? Like, what the frick is going on?
Upsetting to see
this world that we're living in.
Most respectfully, I'm here at the RNC convention and I need you to walk with me over here. So let's have a conversation. I want to just point out to you the ignorance of what you just did, because if we're going to be honest for a second, we talk about all the time how we want celebrities to have common sense, to speak the truth, and to get their audience to think. Not tell their audience what to think, but to get their audience to think. So here you have Amber Rose, someone who has been famous for decades now, telling her audiences to think for themselves.
At first, I didn't think that little bit with Alex Stein showing up to Jent Yinger getting in, he's just getting in the way of the camera. I didn't think that was real at first, but apparently it was. And speaking of that Pierce Morgan episode, there is going to be some pulled from that episode in the second video today, and of course Friday's video, because we got a couple of very big topics to talk about this week outside of this one here. Now, today we're going to be doing two videos, and of course this is video number one. But I wanted to check it on the RNC, and of course there's also this backlash involving Amber Rose, and of course the person who has decided to run his mouth about it, of course, was Matt Walsh. Now, guys, I've made a couple of videos on Matt Walsh. Let me just go ahead and say this. About 99% of the time, like with Ben Shapiro, I do agree on the issues. However, there's something that needs to be said, and I'm going to go ahead and say this once again, like many of the content creators have said about Matt, that outside the whole gender issue, there really isn't much use for him outside of that. Yes, I said that, and I'll explain why in this video. Before we get started, yes, I know I've already upset some people. It is what it is. Like I said, I agree with Matt on about 99% of the issues, but I'm going to tell you guys what I honestly think, because this right here is not the time to be throwing people under the bus or attacking potential voters, especially given the fact that we need those votes to save the country. Now, am I concerned about the party? Am I concerned about conservatism long term? Seeing how it is that Amber Rose was platformed. And we'll play a little bit from her speech, because it was actually a pretty good speech. And I've made a couple of videos on Amber talking about how it was that she sort of left the left in the moments that kind of got her to do that. But how do you expect to get more people on your side? You allow them to come over, tell them the story. Yes, there is some stuff that you need to check out. The fact that she's a model, the fact that she organized a slut walk, the fact that she lives a very, very degenerate life, or she did. I'm guessing she still does. I mean, there was a little bit from a few months ago talking about abortion and stuff. She doesn't have the same view that I have on abortion, but kind of like what Cat Turd said in his tweet, you're welcome to come over here, okay? I'm not going to condemn you for coming over here to help us save the country. Something else, too, I chose to edit this one in late. There was a woman who spoke last night who lost her son due to the crime in New York. Now, I understand that this lady who spoke was also a Democrat, but like I said before, how do you expect people to come over? Okay, this lady lost her son, and now she kind of got red pilled on. I understand it's miles apart comparing Amber Rose, but still, though, Matt, the point is this right here. You don't condemn people who are coming over to you. You bring them in. You teach them, okay? You let them, you explain to them why it is the way it is after they have chosen. And sometimes you let them kind of red pill themselves on their own. Normally, if you do that, people will typically tend to self-correct. I'm not saying Amber Rose will, but I'm not speaking for her. I'm talking for other voters who've experienced the very, very, very bad Democrat policies. I mean, this lady right here actually lost her son. I mean, are you going to condemn her? I understand, like I said, I understand it's worlds apart, not the same. But still, though, how do you expect people to come over? Just say it. Or as Malcolm Flex said.
Listen, I might not be the best one to carry this message, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell you now. The fact that conservatives are flipping their shit losing their minds, having hissy fits over Amber Rose getting to speak at the RNC. Yeah, it's not a good look. Let me just tell you, there are plenty of people who are coming over to the side of logic and truth and understanding what's going on in the country. And many of them, here's a secret, come close, they're normal people. They don't look like the same person that's on DC. They don't wear the suits. They don't wear everything nicely just slicked, greased, oiled with the lapel pins and all that. People get face tattoos. People have seasons in their life where they're not perfect. And guess what? They're still capable of voting. They're still capable of making the right decision. And, you know, to turn your nose up at the fact that they actually did something that was a little bit brilliant, which is to bring someone that does not look like and might not have exemplified the correct values or fit the bill for what you think a conservative should be. The fact that they brought that person up on stage just shows that, hey, even normal people understand what's going on. Even people who were on the other side of the aisle understand what's going on.
I'm no fan of Tristan and Andrew Tate, but you guys can obviously see the tweet here from Tristan Tate. He's 100% correct. At this moment in time, you need the votes to fix everything. So do us all a favor at this moment in time and shut the F up, Matt. And what about Scott Pressler? I mean, Scott Pressler is gay, yes, but Scott Pressler is single-handedly registering voters. Look, this guy is single-handedly doing everything he can to save the country. I understand that he lives a lifestyle that maybe most conservatives don't approve of, including myself, but still, the point of this right here. He's trying to help us save the damn nation. Like I said, we could have the conversation afterwards. Matt, I understand you've got a platform, bro, but still, Scott, I think, is doing a lot more to save the nation. He's actually physically going door to door. Is he not allowed all of a sudden? There's a lot of people out there with the mindset of what Amber Rose has that does not have party affiliation that are looking to vote Republican. And here it is once again, this clown, Matt Walsh, is going out of his way to tell people you're not allowed. The best example is probably the Mash Touré, Matt Walsh beef that happened a few years ago. I would advise you guys to look into that. We may do a video on that in the future to show you guys exactly how out of touch this guy really truly is, especially on the whole video game thing. Dude, there's a lot of gamers out there who hate SJWs and would like to vote to the right, but it's because of people like Matt that they don't show up and actually vote. Like I said, we need those votes. If we can get the votes, we could actually fix the actual culture. We can start passing laws. We could actually start enforcing the culture. It becomes a better environment. Look at the environment that we're living in now. Matt, you're not helping us, dude, with this type of crap. You're actually hurting us more and more and more. Look, Fresh and Fit put up a tweet about this saying that he was right, and of course I get that, but I don't think Fresh and Fit are the people at this moment in time that you want to use as your orator to help get that message out. I mean, didn't Myron recently, didn't they just pay for a girl's abortion? I mean, I'm just pointing that out. And let me go ahead and say something else, too, especially to those who are upset that I may be attacking their boy, Matt Walsh. I want to go ahead and say this, and I want to be abundantly clear. When somebody asks me the question, are you willing to sell out every single value? No, I'm not, but I also understand that we need every single freaking vote right now in the world to save this country. It's that line of thinking that will keep us the permanent minority. Then you'll be complaining about culture, but yet you've got no power. The point is this right here. We need every single vote. How the hell do you think you start a movement? You start it with disaffected people who eventually change over time. Let me ask you guys a question. How do you think people come to God? How do you think people come to Christianity? I mean, we're actually way more forgiving than people like Destiny and the atheist will say. It's normally after some form of struggle, some bad things have gone on in your life. That's normally how it happens. But of course, we got people out there on their high horse that would throw you out of the church the first chance they got because you did some bad stuff in your past. You got to be forgiven. Now, I'm not saying I trust Amber Rose. I'm just simply saying give the girl a chance at this moment in time. She is voting. She's here to help save us, to save the country. She could go back left at a later date. But the only reason why she would go back left at a later date is because of people like Matt Walsh. I mean, they repel people from voting Republican. Just saying. Malcolm Flex is a pretty rational guy, and I think he outlined it perfectly there when he basically said, look, you know, there's people on the other side that want to come over here, and if we decide to gatekeep this side, yeah, that is a bit of an issue. I understand the ramifications of possibly turning conservatism degenerate, all that type of stuff there. I agree with that. I understand your concerns. But right now is not the time to have that conversation. I think at this moment in time, I think what we need to be doing is focusing in on getting Biden out of office. I mean, these people are trying to assassinate their political opponents. I mean, imagine what happens when Trump is out of the way. Just think about that. Our freedoms are under assault. And obviously, Amber Rose can see that. And she also did give a relatively solid speech, which we'll play small excerpts from, not a whole lot, but most of the stuff, of course, is in the B-roll footage. The point that I'm trying to make is that we can have a conversation after the election. We can have this conversation a little bit more in the future. And at this moment in time, starting this little ruckus is not exactly what we need to be talking about. I mean, look at the comments in the initial post that were actually put up there. I'll link the actual thread in the description box. You got people from Viva Fry to Ashley St. Clair. I'm not a big fan of hers either because of some of the things that she has said recently. But for the most part, people are trying to unify the party, and they're trying to unify against the current regime so that way we can put a stop to all the nonsense that's going on. I mean, we're heading into World War III, and Matt here wants to suddenly gatekeep conservatism and be that one voice. Like I just said, we kind of sort of need every voice out there. And given the fact that some of the things that Amber said, like you guys are about to see, most Americans are actually feeling exactly what she's talking about here. Let's roll some of this.
But I do care about the truth. And the truth is that the media has lied to us about Donald Trump. I know this because for a long time I believed those lies, so I'm here to set the record straight. The first person I knew who supported Donald Trump was my father. I was shocked. My entire family is racially diverse, and I believed the left-wing propaganda that Donald Trump was a racist. My father said, "No, he's not, Amber. What are you talking about?" And when I insisted, he said, "Prove it." So to prove my father wrong, I did my research and looked into all things Donald Trump. People have to do their research.
By the way, not to keep this going too long, and we'll play one more clip here in a second. You see that Trump is cheering. A lot of that's because Donald Trump himself asked her to speak. I mean, right now there's this rumor going on that 50 Cent will suddenly show up to the RNC and he'll probably sing Many Men because, of course, there's a lot of memes out there. And I'm not saying that that's false. I'm not saying that's true. I'm not here to do that at all. But what I am saying is this right here. Would you tell him he's not allowed? I hate to say this, but look, you know, we need every single voter we can get right now. We can't be picking and choosing. Beggars can't be choosy at this moment in time. We have a nation to save.
I never felt more free and more love for my country than I do now. I want to thank my father, who's in the audience tonight, for opening my eyes. He served over 20 years in the U.S. military. Thank you for your service, Dad. Where's he at? I love you, Dad. I love you. I love you so much. Thank you. When I met the president and Melania for the first time, he was kind and generous and funny as hell. Very funny. The First Lady was gracious and smart with a smile that will brighten up any room. If you're watching this tonight, you know our country is in trouble. Just like me. When you go to the store and buy food for your family, you're shocked. When you fill up your gas tank, you're pissed. I know I am.
There was also this other very interesting tweet that the officer Brandon Tatum tweeted out, or he retweeted, where he was talking about how it was that according to Matt Walsh's logic, J.D. Vance is allowed to change his mind, but Amber Rose is not. Okay, the officer Brandon Tatum has been very, very vocal about him being a former Democrat. He changed his mind. Ben Carson, who spoke last night, Trump's former HUD secretary, was also a Democrat. He left the Democratic Party. Matt, if I recall correctly, you did not even vote in 2016. Of course, we keep on retweeting the whole thing that you said about how it was that you hated Donald Trump supporters, how it was that you did not like them back in 2016. Matt Walsh, of course, will probably come out today and talk about how it is that people are bringing up old tweets. Well, we also know that you voted for Evan McMullin in 2016. So did J.D. Vance. He supported Evan McMullin in 2016 as well. Eventually, Trump won him over. Eventually, Trump's brand of conservatism won him over. I mean, dude, you can't just cherry pick the examples. I mean, I understand that I'm kind of bringing this up, but I'm bringing this up to kind of counter the points. Amber Rose is obviously a person who does not have the same worldview and same beliefs that I do. It's probably because of where she's from. But she realizes exactly what the hell is going on, and she's brought it over. And also, not to mention, to go on top of that, she also mentioned in her speech that it took her father to tell her you need to actually look up Donald Trump, actually look into him and see the actual truth. Oh, wait, that reminds me. There's another great example of that, and that person's name was Brandon Straka. Yes, Brandon Straka, the guy who led the walk away movement, the guy who led the walk away from the left movement. His story, which I think has been pulled from YouTube, if I can find it, I'll try to put it in the description box, actually kind of mirrors Amber Rose's. Do some actual literal research, actually look into the man's past, see that the media is, 99% of what the media says is bullshit. If you do that there, you'll figure out that, guess what, you've been hoodwinked, you've been lied to. So yes, Amber Rose, you're welcome over here. We will have a conversation about everything that you do and the stuff that you do on the side. We'll have a conversation on that later on. We're not going to pass judgment on you. Right now, we need your vote. We need these people's votes to do what? Actually save the country, or as this guy here put it,
telling her audiences to think for themselves and to look into conservative values and to hear it out. And instead of embracing that you're being a hater and a troll, yes, Amber Rose is very open about the fact that she used to be a far leftist, but now she's realized how many of the lies she bought into from the far left. So no, instead of condemning her and shaming her about her past, maybe you should look into what it was that opened up her mind so that you can convince people to think for themselves as well instead of turning them away from the right.
Ignore what gatekeepers have to say. That right there is basically what I took out of that. Look, right now, conservatism is building. We've got a big tent. Now, I understand that people are concerned about Harmeet Dillon's little prayer and the fact that certain things have, certain people have shown up, like, say, Amber Rose, to actually speak. Look, let me say this right now, and I'm going to make this point abundantly clear one more time. Every vote counts. You need those votes to win. I mean, we're not the ones that are going out of our way to shoot our political opponents. The left is doing that. We need these people out of office. So right now, this moment in time, we need every single vote. She was Trump deranged at one point in time, okay? Sometimes when an issue doesn't affect you personally, you're not going to respond to it. But then when it does actually affect you personally, like I showed in the first video, the actual moment that she realized that the left was this bad, yeah, after a while, guess what? When something starts to affect you personally, you're probably going to make some changes in your life. I mean, dude, not everybody is Matt Walsh. But then again, though, at the same time, though, as the joke I've always made about Matt's the only guy I can think of who's got 6 kids, but yeah, he's only been laid 5 times. His wife only uses him for breeding purposes. That right there is the truth about Matt Walsh. I mean, seriously, I don't mean to be an asshole or anything, and I understand it's possible that the Matt Walsh bros may come in here and ratio this video, but really, to tell you the truth, I really, truly don't care. I mean, dude, we need people to come over. We don't need to be brushing people off. I mean, it seems to me like maybe Matt Walsh is doing more to hurt us at this moment in time. Yeah, like I said, he's great when it comes to the issues itself, but a lot of times these Daily Wire bros, they're not good when it comes to overall electoral politics. They're not good when it comes to political strategy. They really aren't. They automatically believe that everybody's got the same worldview that they do. They don't. Look, I agree with 99% of Matt's issues. I agree with 99% of what Matt says. But me and him don't have the same worldview on everything. But still, at the same time, though, I'm still a conservative, or I guess you could say I'm probably a traditionalist, because we're starting to lose that term, which I understand. A lot of people are going to want to have conversations about that in the comment section. That's fine with me. We can always have that. But right now, we need to get elected. We need to get in charge. We need to get power. Just say it. But of course, if Matt Walsh had it his way, we would not be up in the polls. We would not be winning elections at all. Let me tell you what I personally think about Matt. And of course, like I just told you before, I agree with about 99% of what Matt Walsh, or at least the issues, are concerned. However, like I said before, outside the gender issue, he's really just an old boomer conservative. And I don't even think he really and truly is that when you think about it. I mean, dude, Ben Shapiro did not vote for Donald Trump in 2016, but he did vote for him in 2020. J.D. Vance did not vote for him in 2016, but he did support him in 2020. He's supporting him now. He's his vice president. Matt Walsh, I would doubt has ever even voted for Trump. And if there's anybody at the Daily Wire crew that suddenly says, I'm too based, I'm too principled to go out and go vote for somebody whose view on abortion is not the same as mine. By the way, I'm a pro-lifer, and I'm not sitting here being, choosy about voting for Trump at this moment in time. If there's anybody that says, screw this, I'm going to stay home because I'm so based, it's probably going to be Matt Walsh. That's how you lose elections. I'm not saying you need to lose your principles. What I'm saying is you need to gain power, get in charge, and then after that, work on the actual culture, pass the laws that need to be passed to save the country, and then we can have the discussions a little bit later on. It's like I've told the pro-life people, and I'm a pro-lifer myself, dude, you need to get in actual office itself. You need to actually get there from the state and local position to get the laws passed to save the children and save the babies. Yes, sending this issue back to the states may not be what I prefer, but I also know that abortion issue kills us every single election cycle. The exact same way you've got this guy right now running his mouth about somebody being on stage saying this probably didn't change a single voter's mind. Dude, you don't freaking know that. Okay, there's a lot of women out there who are actually suffering economically, and as I know, it's due to their own situation, their own position. I get that. I understand that. And I also know that people are going to come in here and accuse me of being a simp. But, dude, I think we all have a mother, and I think we've all been raised by a woman at some point in time. So, yeah, money is important. There's a lot of women out there who, for whatever reason, choose to live the degenerate lifestyle and want the abortion over the cash. But if you take that issue away or make it the most rational position, guess what? They're more inclined to support you. They're more inclined not to vote Democrat. That's kind of the point. We need the votes to win the election so that way we can get back power. But, of course, leave it to Matt Walsh to be so base to say, well, I don't agree with him on that. I'm going to stay home. I'm going to stay home on election day. Matt Walsh is probably the worst when it comes to the pop culture topic. I mean, the last video I made involving Matt Walsh involved video games, his position on that, dude. If you grew up in the 80s and the 90s, chances are you played video games. As I've said before, it's not the video game that causes people to go out and go kill people. It's irresponsible parents. It's irresponsible parents that don't provide some form of balance or teach their children balance. That right there is what it is. We could skin a cat a million different ways, and I'm pretty sure that he's already got an idea of how he's going to do it when it comes to this lady here. But the fact of the matter is this right here. Right now, at this moment in time, we need the votes to get over to save the freaking country. Because if we stay home because we're all so based, yeah, we're probably going to be the minority for the rest of our existence. We can have that conversation afterwards. And yes, it's a good idea to be based. Of course, you should be based. Of course, somebody's going to take it out of context. But still, at the same time, though, the point is this right here. We need to get back in charge so that way we can pass the laws to actually help save this country. And right now, at this moment in time, we need her vote. Don't be an asshole, dude. You guys tell me what you think in the comment section. I already know this video is probably going to get some dislikes. I really truly don't care. I just always tell you guys the truth. This is who I am. This is how I am. Please tell me what you think in the comments. Please hit the like button anyways. Please subscribe. Please share the video. Please sign up in the comment section. And I'll see you guys later.